In 1887, a desperate cowboy named Samuel, or Sam Wheaton, spent his last $200 on 5,000 acres of land that had killed every single animal that ever grazed there. The locals called it Devil's Canyon because over 3,000 cattle had mysteriously died on that land in just 10 years. The previous 5 owners had all gone bankrupt. One had gone insane, and the last owner, he literally paid Sam to take it off his hands. This is the true story of the worst land purchase in Colorado history that became the smartest investment any cowboy ever made. Sam Wheaton wasn't supposed to be a failure. Son of a respected rancher, Sam had inherited a thriving cattle operation when his father died. But a harsh winter in 1886 wiped out his entire herd. 2,000 head of cattle, frozen solid. By spring of 1887, Sam was down to his last $200. His wife had left him. His brother wouldn't speak to him. At 38 years old, he was sleeping in barns and working as a day laborer on ranches he used to do business with as an equal. Sam had 2 choices. Use that $200 to start over somewhere else, maybe California, or take one last gamble in Colorado. He chose the gamble. Devil's Canyon sat 30 miles north of Denver. 5,000 acres of what looked like beautiful grazing land, rolling hills, a creek running through it, picture perfect. Except for one problem. Every animal that grazed there died within weeks. Cattle would seem fine, then suddenly collapse. Horses refused to drink the water. Even wild deer avoided the area. The grass grew tall and green, untouched, like nature's own graveyard. The land had been sold 5 times in 10 years, each time for less money. The last owner, Marcus Webb, was so desperate to get rid of it, he actually gave Sam $50 along with the deed just to take legal responsibility. "I'm paying you to take my curse," he said, his hands shaking as he signed the papers. Word spread through Colorado like wildfire. Sam Wheaton had bought Devil's Canyon. The local newspaper ran a cartoon of Sam shaking hands with the devil himself. The headline read, "Local fool trades last dollar for Death Valley." His own brother published an open letter in the Denver Post. "I hereby declare that Samuel Wheaton is no longer my kin. Any man stupid enough to buy cursed land deserves no family." The bartender at the saloon started a betting pool on how long before Sam would go bankrupt. The most generous bet gave him 3 months. Sam couldn't even get credit at the general store. The owner's wife felt so bad she secretly left bread on his doorstep at night. But Sam had noticed something everyone else missed. During his time as a day laborer, he'd worked for a German immigrant named Otto Zimmermann, who had been a mining engineer in Prussia. Otto taught Sam about geology over long nights by the campfire. One thing stuck in Sam's mind. "Animals not die from curse," Otto had said in his broken English. "Animals die from minerals. Ground tells story if you know how to read." Sam spent his first week at Devil's Canyon not with cattle, but on his hands and knees, studying the land. He noticed the dead cattle were always found near certain white rocks scattered across the property. The grass around these rocks grew twice as tall as anywhere else. Sam chipped off a piece of the white rock and tasted it. Immediately, his tongue went numb. He spit it out, his heart racing. He'd found the killer, but more importantly, he recognized what it was. The white rocks were phosphate deposits. Deadly to cattle in concentration, but incredibly valuable for something else entirely: fertilizer. This wasn't cursed land. This was a chemical gold mine. Sam did the math. There were thousands of these deposits across his 5,000 acres.
The American farming industry was desperate for phosphate, importing it from Morocco at enormous cost. For the next 18 months, Sam lived like a ghost on Devil's Canyon. He built a small shack from salvaged wood, ate rabbits and wild plants. During the day, he mapped every single phosphate deposit, marking them with red flags he made from his old shirts. At night, by candlelight, he taught himself chemistry from books he borrowed from the Denver Library, walking 30 miles each way to exchange them. His neighbors would occasionally see him hauling white rocks in a wheelbarrow, sorting them into piles. They called him Crazy Sam, and parents used him as a warning to their children. Study hard or you'll end up like Sam Wheaton playing with poison rocks. But Sam wasn't playing. He was calculating. He figured out that his land held approximately 2 million tons of phosphate. At current import prices, that was worth... He had to write the number 3 times to believe it. By winter of 1888, Sam was ready to act. But he had a problem. No one would listen to a broke cowboy claiming to have found a fortune in cursed rocks. He needed proof. He needed credibility. He needed someone with credentials. Sam spent his last $10 on a train ticket to Colorado School of Mines. He walked into the office of Professor Charles Davis, America's leading geology expert, carrying a sack of white rocks. "Professor, I need 5 minutes of your time. What I'm about to show you will change American agriculture forever." The professor almost threw him out, but Sam placed a pure white phosphate crystal on his desk. Professor Davis's eyes widened. He grabbed his magnifying glass, then his testing kit. An hour later, he looked up at Sam with shock. "This is 82% pure phosphate, higher grade than anything we import. Where did you find this?" "I own 5,000 acres of it."
Professor Davis didn't just verify Sam's discovery. He became his business partner. Together, they contacted Armour and Company, the largest fertilizer manufacturer in America. When Armour's representatives tested the phosphate, they couldn't believe the quality. The very same newspapers that had mocked Sam now ran headlines: "Devil's Canyon is white gold mine," and "Cursed land worth millions." The Denver Post published a retraction of their cartoon. This time, it showed Sam shaking hands with Lady Fortune. Armour and Company offered Sam an immediate $2 million for the mining rights. Sam countered with something smarter. He'd lease them the mining rights for $100,000 per year, plus 10 cents per ton extracted. Over the next 40 years, they pulled 50 million tons of phosphate from Devil's Canyon. Sam's family made over $300 million in today's money. Remember Marcus Webb, who paid Sam to take the land? He showed up at Sam's office, begging for just a small percentage. Sam could have laughed him off. Instead, he hired Webb as his operations manager at triple the going salary. Sam's brother, who had disowned him publicly? Sam bought the bank that held his brother's mortgage and forgave the debt. The whole town that had mocked him? Sam built them a school, a library, and a hospital, all free to use. At the dedication of the library, Sam gave a speech only 3 sentences long. "Everyone saw death where I saw life. Everyone saw a curse where I saw chemistry. The only difference between worthless and priceless is knowledge." Devil's Canyon is still producing phosphate today. It's now part of a national agricultural reserve that helps feed millions. Sam Wheaton died in 1934, the richest rancher in Colorado history. But here's the part I love most. He kept the deed to Devil's Canyon framed on his wall with a note that said, "Best $200 I ever spent on nothing." Sometimes the worst investments are just the best ones in disguise. You just need to know what you're really looking at. What would you have done? Would you have bought the cursed land? Let me know in the comments below. And if you love stories about underdogs who saw fortune where everyone else saw failure,
hit that subscribe button. Next week, I'm telling the incredible story of the prospector who bought a dry mine that everyone thought was exhausted and found the largest silver vein in American history just 3 feet deeper. Until then, remember, today's joke might be tomorrow's jackpot. You just need the courage to look foolish long enough to prove you're brilliant.